Okay, so get this, everyone. We're going deep into UK labor unions today.
Right.
And bam, out of nowhere, Mick Lynch, the head honcho of the RMT, just up and says, I'm retiring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right. So for anyone needing a quick recap,
Sure.
Mick Lynch, he's been leading the RMT.
Right.
That's the biggest rail union in the UK. And this guy's been all over the news, especially during those massive rail strikes back in 2022, 2023.
Yeah, I remember those.
No messing around, super straight talking, tough negotiator.
Exactly.
So today, we're going to try and unpack what this retirement really means.
Okay.
Not just for the RMT itself, but for the whole UK labor movement.
Big picture stuff.
Big picture, yeah. And there's some backstory here that I think might surprise people.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so let's rewind a bit. Lynch's journey to running the RMT doesn't start with those strikes. It starts way back in the 80s.
Huh.
Dude was an electrician.
Really?
Yeah, and there's this blacklisting thing.
Right. I've heard about that.
Filming it.
Well, he was involved in a strike, right?
Yeah.
And ended up blacklisted.
Couldn't get work.
Basically, yeah. Shut out by construction companies, all because of his union activism. Think about that for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Years of your life, just like that.
Wow.
It gives you a whole different perspective, right?
Totally.
Years later, after a long legal fight, he gets a £35,000 compensation check.
That's got to feel good.
Oh, absolutely. But it's more than the money, isn't it?
Right.
It's like the symbol of the whole messed up power dynamic. Workers and employers, the way they treat people.
That's like a David and Goliath story almost.
Kinda, yeah. And I read somewhere that he actually keeps a framed copy of that check.
No way.
On his office wall.
Like a reminder.
Yeah, don't forget where you came from. Don't forget what they did.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. And you can see how that experience, that whole blacklisting thing, it shaped him, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be part of why the RMT, under his leadership, became known for being so, aggressive.
No backing down.
No backing down.
And then boom, 2022, 2023, those huge rail strikes.
A whole country felt it.
Yeah, everything ground to a halt.
Yeah.
The RMT, with Lynch at the helm, they weren't messing around.
But you got to look at those strikes in context, right?
In what sense?
I mean, this wasn't just about wages. There was a lot going on back then.
Like what?
Inflation was through the roof. Wages were stuck. And there was this feeling, this really strong feeling, that working people were getting the short end of the stick.
Like left behind.
Exactly.
So you're saying those strikes, they were a symptom of something bigger?
Maybe, yeah. Were they just a reaction to the bad economy, or were they a sign of something deeper? Like this growing frustration, this militancy within the labor movement.
Makes you think.
It does, right?
And let's be real. Not everyone loved Lynch. Not everyone loved the strikes.
Right.
Some folks said his salary, something like £84,000.
Yeah.
That made him out of touch.
Sure.
He wasn't really one of the workers anymore.
I can see that argument.
Plus all that disruption. Yeah, the commuters.
People trying to get to work, see their families, all that got messed up.
It's a fair point.
And then, even inside the RMT, things weren't exactly peaceful.
Right.
Before Lynch, there was Mick Cash.
Yeah, I remember him.
He resigned because of harassment claims.
Oh, wow.
And then Lynch himself, he actually stepped down for a bit.
What?
Yeah, bullying allegations. Crazy, right?
Wow, I didn't know that.
But then he comes back, wins the leadership election in 2021.
Huh.
So what does all that tell us about what it's like to lead a union like the RMT?
I mean, think about it. These big unions, they're not simple. You've got all these different factions inside. Everyone's got their own priorities.
Right.
The members, they don't all agree on everything.
Makes sense.
And these allegations against Cash, against Lynch, even if they weren't true, they tell us something.
What's that?
It's a high-pressure environment, Things can get pretty intense inside these unions.
It makes you wonder about Lynch's retirement.
He says it's time for a change, but he doesn't really give a reason.
Interesting. It's like he's leaving at this really crucial moment, right?
How so?
Well, he just got this deal with the new labor government.
Right, after all those strikes.
Exactly. So why walk away now? Is it his age, the stress of the strikes, the drama inside the union? Who knows?
It's a mystery.
It is.
But, what happens to the RMT now?
$1 million question. Who are they going to pick to replace him?
Yeah.
Will it be someone who's just as confrontational as Lynch? Or will they go in a totally different direction?
It's like someone who's more willing to work in the government, the rail companies.
Exactly.
So we've got this incredible story.
Yeah.
This guy, Mick Lynch, he starts out as an electrician, gets blacklisted. Then, years later, he's leading one of the biggest unions in the UK, takes them through these massive strikes, gets a deal.
It's quite a ride.
But he leaves behind this complicated legacy, you know, success, but also division and a lot of questions.
Definitely. It's a legacy that's going to shape the RMT. And it might even have a ripple effect on how labor relations work in the whole UK.
And as the RMT gets ready to pick their new leader, the big question is, what path are they going to take?
Right.
What's that choice going to tell us about the state of workers' rights in the UK? About the power of unions? Something to think about, right?
Absolutely.
Well, folks, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another fascinating story. Until then, keep thinking critically and stay curious.
See ya.